Okay, we have a green box, we have a live counter ticking up, so it should now be live, which of course means welcome back to the Storytime Network, where we are ranking One Piece fights, because we remembered we'd actually gotten one of these tier lists.
Hell yeah. Now, just to be clear, right at the top, this will have spoilers in it.
Yeah, this will have anime spoilers in it, or spoilers for anime-only watchers, though I can't...
There are a lot of fights in, like, Wano and post-Wano in here.
Though I somewhat can't, like, fathom the mind of an anime-only One Piece watcher.
Yeah, no, I can't either.
Like, if
Why
you're
have
gonna
you not
spend your
skipped ahead and read the manga at this point?
yeah, if you're gonna spend your time, you know, going through all of One Piece, why would you not just do the manga?
So much easier.
Yeah, and you know, paced so much better. I once again remembered that it's been a fucking long time since we've actually introduced ourselves. So, hello, I am Mill. I'm a Brit for my sins. Jack, you are a Californian. You are currently enjoying the effects of climate change.
Yes.
What with the tornado landing in fucking...
We've had rain at least one full day.
Yeah,
the tornado was weird. And we've had rain in SoCal for at least one full day every week for the past several weeks.
Yeah, there was a fucking tornado in Montebello, California. Like, the
weather's been... Yeah, I saw the news.
8 miles from downtown Los Angeles.
It's absolutely nuts.
You know, I'm starting to think that maybe The Day After Tomorrow was a touch more accurate than most gave it credit for. Just a touch. They did have tornadoes in LA. Admittedly, they had ice ages as well, but yeah, can't get everything right. But really, we should have.
Yeah, the Hollywood song got sewed on somehow. Mel, are you hearing me?
I am hearing you, yes, but you're also coming in sort of robot-y.
Okay. I think I fixed the problem.
But,
there it is. Okay.
But yeah, maybe we should have taken this whole climate change thing seriously. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I think we should. I think most people agree. It's just the people who matter about it don't, for some fucking reason.
Well, fuck those people.
That rhymes with honey.
Fuck those people, and in the spirit of that, let's talk about One Piece.
Heh. I do love me some good punching out tyrants.
So, I see Sanji kicking somebody there.
This is just Pirate Brawl.
Yeah. I don't recognize who exactly that is.
This is Sanji versus Pearl.
Pearl?
This is Sanji versus Pearl.
Pearl. Who the fuck is Pearl?
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try something. Hold on a second. The audio is just... No.
No, I heard you. I just don't know who the fuck Pearl is. Okay. Gonna do a search. Right. Pearl the Invincible Iron Wall. Commander of the Krieg Pirates. Why? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. I don't remember this fight.
Not a super memorable fight, yeah. Kind of took a backseat to Gin, his whole drama. So, yeah, not very, not the best fight to start off on, really. Not the worst fight in the series. There are a few contenders for that, but not the best fight to start off on. No?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just having Google.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm just not always responding because I'm reading something. I'm trying to learn about Pearl. And the fact that he got knocked out by Luffy and then beat the shit out of Sanji for some reason.
Lost the shit, yes.
Yeah.
He went into a
Okay.
berserker rage, basically, yes. But yeah, not the most good or memorable fight, honestly. It's probably D tier, probably D tier.
That's Luffy. There's a dude
Next
with
one though
spikes.
is Luffy versus Krieg.
Ah, Krieg. Okay.
Yeah, Luffy versus Krieg.
Better fight, but even then,
I'd say C or B tier. It's a fun fight, but at the same time, like Luffy is basically winning most of it.
mm,
Though it is more of a struggle than his previous couple fights.
I don't know. Is it not somewhat overshadowed by the whole Mihawk stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in terms of a,
Speaking of which, I need to find that one on the tier list.
in terms of a climactic fight for an arc, it's not really good, is it?
No.
Not particularly good. So, C.
C tier, yeah. Here's
Again,
where we get to when the fights in One Piece start getting good.
Zoro versus Hachi?
Hachan.
Hachan.
Hachi, yes.
Hachi, Hachan, whatever. It's 8, basically.
Either or.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is a suitable name for an octopus.
Yeah. Because, yes, the Japanese for 8 is Hachi.
Yeah.
Trying to remember this one as well.
I'd say B tier. Solid B tier. It's a fun fight.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll say is, I don't think Zoro was ever, like, in any danger of losing it, if I recall correctly.
Well, he was bleeding out from his Mihawk wounds at the time.
Yeah, but that's you know, that goes
honestly,
to, that
I'm
goes
pretty
to
sure
Mihawk,
most
not
of Zoro's big pre-time skip. Most of Zoro's big pre-time skip fights, he was fighting with a handicap.
Yeah, but I still feel like that doesn't really. I don't think that says anything for like the fight itself, and more just. I feel like that almost lessens the impact of the fight almost. Because it means, like, if Zoro was actually taking it, or able to take it seriously, then, he'd just curb stomp Hachi. Hello?
Okay. Can you hear me better this time, Mel?
I was hearing you before.
Yeah, but there was a delay on your response for some reason. I don't know why. I just switched over to a different computer, so that should help it.
Oh god, is your computer having issues again? Hello? Sigh.
Okay, there we go. Issue solved.
Is your computer having issues again?
It's the internet connection on my main PC is not the best at times.
Right.
But now I have switched over to a different system. Okay. Anyways.
But yes, as I was saying, I feel like the fact that Zoro needed a handicap sort of lessens the fight.
It's less that he needed a handicap, it's that he was always at a handicap in his fights.
The point is that if he didn't have the handicap, the fight would have been a curb stomp.
Possibly, yes. It's still a fun fight, though.
which is what I'm
not
getting
saying
at.
it's not. I'm just saying that, like, I'd say this is high C.
High C is delicious. Thank you. Yes, I would like some high C. I would put in B tier just for the sheer fun factor. That's just me.
Let's see how we go. Let's put it high C for now, and we'll see how we go. If we feel like we want to bring it up, we can. And that's the point. We can always, once we've got everything ranked, because that's the point. We've got 3 fights on it right now, so we don't exactly know how everything's gonna, pan out. That looks like Sanji's Fishman opponent, whose name I do not remember. Karubi.
This was an interesting one because it forced Sanji to work outside of his comfort zone by making him fight underwater.
Mm.
And he did show some inventiveness during the fight by like breathing air into Karubi's gills to get him to let him surface.
Yeah. Again though, it just seems like precursor for a curb stomp.
Yeah. I put it right below Zoro versus Hachan, honestly.
Alright. That's Usopp with his Fishman opponent, I believe?
Yeah, Chew.
Ah, literal Chew. Okay.
Yeah. This one was actually the start of my favorite running gag of Usopp's fights being a nice blend of comedic and actually inspiring.
Mm.
Usopp has some really entertaining fights, honestly.
I mean, the point is that because Usopp is not a traditional,
traditional melee fighter, yeah.
Traditional melee fighter, it means he has to be more inventive with his fights.
Yeah, and you get the crazy shit like him dousing Chew with alcohol and lighting him on fucking fire.
Yeah.
And then beating him with a hammer and a rubber band. God, that gag was so funny.
Like, honestly, just because of the evenness and the inventiveness, I would put this higher than certainly Sanji's fight, possibly even Zoro's. What
Honestly,
do you think?
Yeah. I'd say we could put it like very bottom of B tier, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree, actually.
Yeah.
Like, again, because the point is, we are ranking these fights compared to each other, and we're gonna get so many of these, Sanji and Zoro fights that look relatively similar to each other in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Now, Luffy versus Arlong is good.
Luffy versus Arlong is really good because that's got some real emotion behind it as well.
It's also our first Saga climax fight.
Yeah.
And also it has the factor of Luffy actually having a serious trouble against an opponent for the first time, even if it's not a true challenge like he'd come across later.
Yeah. No, I mean, Fishman Island in general was the first arc.
Arlong Park.
Yeah, sorry. Arlong Park. Arlong Park was the first thing that really got me interested in One Piece. That that walk to Arlong Park moment, but
that is usually most people's first sighted moment of what got them hooked on One Piece.
But yeah, definitely this first fight was really good.
I'd say it's an A tier.
Honestly, I would agree. We'll see how high it stays in A tier when we get to other A tier fights, but I would agree it's the first A tier fight.
Zoro versus the Bounty Hunters. It's probably my favorite group fight in the series. Or one versus
yes,
many.
Yes.
It's the Whiskey Peak fight, yeah.
Whiskey Peak fight, yes. That is actually a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, because it's Zoro schooling a bunch of fools and having a blast while doing it. It's just so fun to watch.
Are we including his short bout with Luffy in this as well?
I don't think that's actually on the tier list.
That's why I'm saying that.
Sure, we can include that.
Because that's also
actually, no,
fun.
I think the second one, the one right next to it, is both Zoro versus Luffy and the two of them briefly versus the Mr. Five pair.
Okay. Then...
Yeah, but this one's just Zoro versus Bounty Hunters, which is a hell of a fun time.
Fun time, but again, you know, Zoro's not really exerting that much effort. I'd say C tier.
I'd say low B, but I can take C.
Above or below?
I put above the Hotchan.
Okay, above the Hotchan.
It's much more fun. This is Luffy versus Zoro, and both of them versus the Mr. Five pair.
Again, you get
how we're going to classify.
Yeah, you get the interest of Luffy versus Zoro, even if it's brief, and even if you know it's just because Luffy's a fucking idiot.
It kind of comes right the fuck out of nowhere, too.
Yeah. Because you've just seen Zoro beat on these fucking bounty hunters that you know are bounty hunters, and Luffy's like, "You idiot, why'd you beat up these people? I'm gonna punch you so hard." He's just like, damn it, Luffy.
God damn it, Luffy, you fucking moron.
I think he was still fat at that point as well. So
yes, he was.
Jiggling his way forward.
It was too funny.
Again, though, it's minor, so I'm still saying C.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm being too negative early on, but like we're gonna get up there with some of these fights. Yeah.
Most of the earlier fights in One Piece are on the weaker side. It's when you get into like the Alabasta fights when you really get the good shit.
Oh, we're gonna have some words once we get to Luffy versus Lucci.
Oh boy.
We're gonna have some serious words. People are gonna be unhappy with me.
I will be one of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I kind of want to put this right next to Zoro versus Bounty Hunters.
Alright.
Chopper versus Chess Marimo. This fight was so fucking stupid and nonsensical, but it was still fun.
Right, the fusion thing. Again, it's a curb stomp.
It's a curb stomp, but it's a fun curb stomp. Well,
yeah, I mean, it's more than anything, it's just an introduction to
Chopper.
To Chopper's fighting style, yeah. Like, again, I don't think I can put it higher than C, personally.
Yeah, it's kind of just a stompage. I put it below Luffy versus Krieg, honestly.
Yeah. It's an interesting fight, and it's interesting getting to see Chopper fight for the first time. But again, like, there's only so much we can go on from a fairly,
one-sided bout.
Yeah.
Luffy versus Wapol is one-sided, but it has the benefit of being incredibly satisfying to watch Wapol get his shit stomped.
Yeah, I would agree.
Also, Wapol does put up a bit of a fight and shows off some of his more unique abilities. So that does lend it some bonus points. But I think the catharsis factor of this fight kind of elevates it above most of the other one-sided stomps in the earlier One Piece. Well, I'd say low B tier.
I think I can agree with that, yeah. Luffy versus Crocodile Part 1.
Round 1, yep.
Round 1.
So this one's probably the weakest of the bouts, but also the strongest as like an establishing villain moment for Crocodile.
Mm.
Just
So
showing off how ludicrous he is.
yeah, this isn't the one where he drains Luffy, is it?
No, that's the second one.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
thinking.
first one is where he just straight up fucking impales Luffy on a hook.
Right.
Which I still contend is one of the gnarliest finishes to a fight that Luffy's been in.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, all of Luffy's fights with Crocodile are very good. I would probably rate this as the lowest, though, because it's the most one-sided of the bouts.
Mm.
And also because, like, most of the fight consists of Luffy wailing on Crocodile and him no-selling it. Except for the bit where Luffy tries to eat Croc. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'd say this one's B tier.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just going through to remember it. So yeah, again, this one-sided, but interesting introduction to a villain. So what did you say? B, did you say?
B tier, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the later Crocodile fights are substantially better.
Yes, they are. I'd say low B tier then.
Yeah, I can put it right between Usopp and Wapol.
Mm. Sanji versus Bon Clay.
That fight is so fucking fun. All the Alabasta fights are really fun, honestly.
Well, again, this is the first time where these guys feel like they're actually facing a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Like before, everyone needed gimmicks to actually. Bar Arlong, people needed gimmicks to actually compete with the Straw Hats, which was sort of the point. You needed to establish the Straw Hats as a problem.
Yeah, as a crew worthy of the Grand Line.
Yeah, if they kept getting held to long, drawn-out fights against the likes of, Wapol and Krieg, then yeah, they're not gonna seem as strong. But
yeah,
this is the first time because you needed to establish Crocodile as this big fucking threat. And he's a threat.
Yeah,
The point is that he should have curb stomped Luffy every single time.
and he did curb stomp him the first two times, but it got harder and harder with each bout.
Because Luffy is actually sort of smart when it comes to battle.
Yeah. It's one place where his IQ doesn't fail him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sanji versus Bon Clay, I will say all of the Alabasta fights are at least B tier at minimum. Sanji versus Bon Clay is one of the fun ones.
Mm.
I would probably rate it either second lowest or lowest, depending on how we wind up rating Nami versus Ms. Doublefinger. Because they're both fun fights, but they're not the best fights in Alabasta.
Honestly, I thought you were gonna say for potentially the worst, the Usopp one.
I like the Usopp one because it's a rare tag battle.
Yeah,
But we don't get those all that often. Most of the fights in One Piece are either 1v1 or group versus group.
Mm.
You don't really get to see like a 2v2 tag battle all that often.
That's fair.
Actually, no. Most One Piece fights are just straight up 1v1s. So yeah, having a tag battle is fun. Though I will say, like, how do you want to rank these three fights then? Because I think that at worst they all go in B tier. And the question would be sorting them in B tier. Because they all have their own unique charms to them. Like, Sanji versus Bon Clay is just really fucking funny, while simultaneously being a legitimately interesting fight at points. Chopper and Usopp versus the Mr. Four pair is a very unique tag battle, and Nami versus Miss Doublefinger is actually kind of a legitimate struggle for Nami.
But yeah, again, she's not a fighter, and the weapon she had was a fucking gag by Usopp.
Yeah. And she still manages to pull off the win. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that one's the best of the three. Because Nami's working with such a disadvantage, and she still manages to eke out a win.
Hmm. I mean, again, the fact that it's or partially a gag fight as well.
I mean,
Does bring it down a little bit for me.
Most fights in One Piece are funny because that's how Oda writes. I don't think it's really fair to dock a fight for being funny. You know?
I guess, but when the chips are down, like the seriousness still comes through.
Yes, but again, you gotta remember the reason Oda gave Luffy the rubber powers was because he didn't want the series to be completely serious 100% of the time.
I know,
Because he likes having comedy.
but I think there's a balance there, and I'm just not sure entirely how well the Nami, what was it, Miss Doublefinger,
Yeah.
straddled that line.
I can see that.
Between, Nami actually fighting her and Nami reacting comedically to Usopp's dumbassery.
Right. Yeah, and the Mr. 2 fight also has a lot of that too, with Sanji getting clowned on a lot. And Mr. 2 getting clowned on a bit too.
Like, again, I absolutely agree. There are some fights that have some really good comedic moments, but I just think, I mean, we may not get to it in this stream, but, going right to the very end. That final fight in this list, I don't want to say it outright, just,
Well, not the final fight, but one of the final fights on the list, yeah.
No, the final fight, is it not? Oh, no. They've added that, okay. I didn't realize. Then yeah, the third to last fight, I think. Yeah.
Third to last.
Yeah. You know the fight that I'm talking about, though.
Oh yeah, I know.
But I just, I think the comedy worked better there.
All right.
I mean, jumping forward to what is it? Enies Lobby.
Like Zoro versus Kaku.
Zoro versus Kaku, and fucking Zoro using Usopp as a sword. Like that was funny, but they still managed to, like, again. I think they balanced the humor just that little bit better. And that's my personal take on it.
All right. Well, okay. How would you rank these three fights then? Well, I say we put them all in B tier, but how would you rank them?
So in terms of just actually the order that I put the three of them in, Sanji and Bon Clay, even though I've been, arguing against it, I still think that Nami versus Miss Doublefinger is better than the double fight.
Okay.
Because again, the issue is I haven't reread One Piece for a while, so I'm just trying to remember my impressions of them. But I do think that one was less impressive, the Usopp and Chopper one. And again, there was a lot of humor to it.
All right. So you would say Sanji versus Mr. 2, Nami Miss Doublefinger, and then the duel fight.
Yeah.
And you want to put them all below Luffy versus Croc round 1? Or do you think they should go a tad lower?
Sanji versus Bon Clay, I think, should go between the Croc fight and the Wapol fight.
Okay.
The other
and
two,
the other
I
two
think,
below the Wapol fight?
Yeah, that would be my instinct.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Now, Zoro versus Das Bones. That's a good fight.
Oh,
Again,
yeah, easy.
This is the first time, obviously bar the Mihawk fight, this is the first time Zoro's struggled against an opponent. And it's fucking done so well.
Yeah, Zoro isn't given any, like, ridiculous handicaps beforehand either. He's just like, shit, I can't cut steel. Shit, I have to go up against this guy who's fucking made of steel.
Oh, wait, yes, I can cut steel. Fuck you. I'm a use Conqueror's Haki. Fuck you. Wait, was that this fight or was it? No, this was just straight Haki.
That was Eddie's Lobby.
Yeah, this was just straight Haki, wasn't it?
No, he just used fucking armament hockey.
Yeah, this
like
is just straight
300 chapters before he knew that was even a thing.
Yeah. Fuck you, I'm gonna use armament hockey. Eat shit, Das Bones. And you know that Das Bones has to know what it is. Because, like...
Probably. He's been on the Grand Line for a while.
He's the first mate of Crocodile, who is a warlord, who we know, there's no way he would have reached, Croc would have reached warlord without knowing about Haki. So that,
Oh, shit.
You would imagine that Das Bones does as well. And so you can imagine when he gets cut, it's like, what the fuck? This little shit just used armament hockey? You know what? He earned that win.
Yeah. A tier, easy.
Honestly, yeah, I would agree with that. Either top of B tier or low A tier.
At worst, low A tier, honestly. Yeah.
Again, I'm just thinking about, and it's not fair to these early fights, but I'm just thinking about what comes after.
No, we kind of have to hedge our bets on these.
Yeah,
is the thing, because like you get the thing where it's like, oh shit, all these crazy fights happen later in the story, and it's like you gotta prep for that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I will agree with that. A tier.
Luffy versus Crocodile, round 2, where Luffy figures out the water thing.
This fight, I think, strikes a really good balance between comedy and seriousness.
Well, again, this is the first time that, Luffy's actually doing damage to Crocodile, and he's like, you little shit, how dare you? Can't believe I'm actually being hurt in this fucking shithole.
But what's even funnier in hindsight is, like, thinking, like, the first time Crocodile actually gets hit, he's like, shit, did this kid figure out hockey? And then it's like, no, he just made himself wet.
No! Who out of this crew of idiots would figure out hockey this early, just as Zoro's cutting into Das Bones? I'm just imagining, like, the two, Das Bones and Crocodile talking, like, after the fact, like, man, I almost thought that Luffy kid figured out hockey. How crazy would that be? Zoro figured it out. What? Who the fuck are these shits?
Yeah, but this one's an A-tier fight, honestly. It's a fun fight. Really good. It's a really good fight that keeps Crocodile threatening by having him basically on the cusp of victory for a good half of the fight before Luffy finally loses that edge.
Yeah, I can agree. I would say low A, and I would say below Zoro versus Das Bones.
I agree. I think the final Luffy versus Crocodile round is the best one.
No, absolutely, 100%, 100%.
I'd say it's S, especially for the finish. That fucking finish, especially in the anime, because if you watch the anime, that gets finished off to I think it's one of New World Symphony, which is just
You know what?
kiss.
I will give you that. We'll obviously reassess at the end, but for the time being, yeah.
I'd say it's the first S tier fight, honestly.
Again, we'll see how we go throughout, but yeah, I think so. Who the fuck
Luffy
is
versus
that?
Bellamy.
Oh, right.
Call Luffy
Again,
One Punch Man because
again, this is fun, and it's like a nice callback to Luffy learning the lesson from Shanks. But it is still a curb stomp of epic. It's a curb stomp of epic proportions, but it's still curb stomp.
I mean, curb stomps aren't necessarily bad fights, especially when they're delivered in this kind of manner.
No, but I do think it. There is a definite ceiling.
Oh, we'll get to a really good curb stomp later. But this, I think, is one of the higher end curb stompings of the series. I'd say it deserves a high B, low A ranking.
I would not be going that far.
You still think C or B tier, then?
I'd say high C, yeah. I'd say above Zora versus the Bounty Hunters.
I'd say it should be in B tier just for the sheer catharsis of Bellamy getting punched out.
Alright, how about this? Above the, between Nami versus Miss Doublefinger and the Chopper Usopp tag fight.
Sure. Yeah, it's got that nice catharsis too, just Bellamy getting karma'd for being a shit.
Yeah. Sanji versus someone? I'm gonna guess...
Satori. The first Skypiea priest. This one's a group fight of Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji versus Satori.
Right.
She's just the one who gets the finisher.
Did you say Hattori or Shatori?
Satori.
Satori. Right.
Yeah, Hattori and Kotori, I think, are his twin brothers.
Right.
As in, the brothers are twins. He's not twins with them. But yeah, oh, this one's a fun one, and it introduces us formally to the concept of hockey. Or rather, mantra, as it's called at that point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is all... and it is actually a pretty inventive fight, too. A lot of Skypiea fights are actually pretty inventive. I'm honestly surprised that none of the things Wiper's involved in are on here. This list is long enough as it is. Yeah, this one's a fun one, but it's not like a peak standout in One Piece. Definitely not the best Skypiea fight. There are a couple better ones.
Yeah, I think it should get some props for introducing mantra and the fact that Luffy and Sanji did have to struggle for a time.
Even if it was only briefly.
But yeah, there's not the emotion behind it that can sort of bring it too high. So
I'd say high C.
I was gonna
Maybe
go
low
low
B.
B.
If you're feeling generous.
Yeah, I was gonna go low
Yeah,
B
low
for
B.
the time being. I mean, bottom of B, but yeah.
Zoro versus, I think it's Graham or Bram or something. I don't know. It's the one where he learns to do the 108-pound Phoenix. One where he learns to shoot sword blasts.
I don't think it was Graham, because I've just searched Graham on the One Piece wiki and it's coming up as one of the archaeologists of Ohara.
Okay, that's not right. He's one of the Skypeans. Or rather, the Shandorans.
Full-time
Oh, the Shandians. Bram. Bram with a B.
I searched Bram. It didn't come up.
Did you include a second A in there?
No.
That's why.
Why would I have done that?
There's two A's. It's Bram, except it's spelled like Graham with a B instead of a G.
No, I did that. I did. Oh. Damn Americans. You mean Graham, not Graham.
Yes, whatever, sure.
It has a H in it. Use the H. You don't get to just ignore letters like that.
Look, at least we're not the French.
Low bar.
But yes, this one's alright. It's mostly just a scrub fight for Zoro.
Mm.
I'd say this one goes in like C tier.
Yeah. Again, I barely remember it, so probably correct. Low C tier?
I mean, bottom of the C tier, yeah. Like I said, scrub fight. Luffy, quote unquote, versus Alvida.
Oh god, this is from like early on.
As of, like the very first fight. No, second fight in the series.
Yeah.
This is E tier. This is literally just Luffy one-shotting someone. Not even an entertaining one-shotting either. It's just like punch, bye.
Like it's
They're much
it's
better
just it's a very rote thing of, all right, we need to get rid of this lady so that Luffy can go off with Kobe. All right, she's gone. Cool.
She got Team Rocketed. All right. Chopper versus Gadats.
Again, I barely remember this fight, so.
I think this is Chopper's second solo fight. Well, this is the first one outside of his introduction. This one's fun enough, but it's most of it's just Gadats being a dumbass. I'd say D tier.
Yeah, I'm looking at the summary of the fight. It seems mostly like it seems like Gadats was dominating the fight for the most part and then just got dumb.
Yeah. It's not. It's a funny fight, but it kind of undermines the actual, seriousness of the situation. So I'd say D tier.
Above the Pearl fight?
Above the Pearl fight, yeah.
Alright.
This is Nami and Gonfall versus Hattori and Kotori. Another tag fight. I get the impression that you don't really remember this one either.
No, I don't remember a lot of the Skypiea fights, to be fair.
There's only 3 that are really worth remembering, in my opinion, and we haven't gotten to them yet.
I remember.
No, 4 if you count the Satori fight.
I obviously remember the Eneru fight really well.
That one's great.
Looking at the picture, I do remember that Robin fight, if you can call it a fight.
I mean, that one's fun. And then there's Zoro versus Ohm.
Zoro versus Ohm is not ringing a huge bell either.
Yeah. Okay, well, we gotta rank this one first, and I'd say this one's like a low C, high D. It's fun enough, and you actually see Nami. Well, she is struggling through the fight, and there is the whole trick of the twins playing shuffle with their hands because they're identical and each has a different dial on each hand. So it does have an interesting gimmick to it. So I'd say it goes in C.
Alright.
Just not super memorable.
Where in C?
I'd say just above Chopper.
Alright.
Chopper's exhibition match. Robin versus Yama.
Curb stomping Yama.
Honestly, though, I do like that this fight has a little bit of a personal stake with Robin and her love of history. And also her just absolutely schooling this ignorant motherfucker.
I forget. Did Robin break his back and make him humble?
Yes, she did.
Good.
And then
Okay.
she launched him off a cliff. Oh wait, no. She beat the shit out of him, launched him off a cliff, and then broke his back in midair. That's a metal as hell finish, honestly.
Again, I feel like this is one of the better curb stomps because it also introduces Robin's fighting ability, and the fact that her devil fruit in a fight is really fucking strong.
Yeah, which is why Oda doesn't have her fight all that often.
Yeah.
Because she just curb stomps everything.
She breaks their backs and makes them humble. What more is there to do?
Yeah, I think this is a good B tier fight. I'd say low B. I'd say we put it below the Satoru fight just because that one is a bit more important story-wise.
Alright. We can come back to it.
Zoro vs. Ohm's alright. It's fun enough, but
how are we ranking it?
It's the one with the boxing dog.
No, this is still not ringing a bell.
You don't remember Holy the boxing dog?
No.
Okay, we can put this B tier then. I'd still put it well above Zoro's fight with Bran. But it'd probably go below Zoro versus Luffy. And Zoro versus Hachi, actually. Because that one's very funny. Luffy versus Eneru is great, though.
Yeah. I mean, if only for the Eneru face.
The epic face, yes.
Wait, fucking Rubber Rubber isn't affected by lightning? Oh no. I made an error. I have become
Errors have
error.
been made. Well, errors have been made.
In terms of Luffy fights, though, it's
in terms of fights.
It's good, but I wouldn't sort of. It's definitely not S tier, I would say.
It's still a fun fight, and it does manage to stay interesting by virtue of Eneru not going down immediately and actually, problem solving to try to get rid of Luffy. Even if it doesn't fully work.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I'm trying to remember. I feel like it was a little dragged out, not as much as some other fights.
Oh, it was absolutely dragged out. Partially because it had a flashback smacked in the middle of it.
So...
I'd say low A tier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because it's still a very fun fight. It's just, it's a bit too long.
Yeah.
Next up is Groggy Ring.
Right, that's the one with Zoro and Sanji.
Zoro and Sanji fighting unarmed against these three fuckers.
Again, this is a comedy fight.
Yeah, but it's fun, and it is interesting to see Zoro fight with a handicap of no swords. I would say it's the C tier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Where
do you think it goes in C tier?
Above the Sanji Arlong fight and below Ohm.
That's about right.
Luffy
versus Foxy has no right being as good as it is.
S tier.
Because Afro Luffy.
Afro Luffy takes it to S tier. No, it's funny, and you're right. It has no right being as good as it is, but it's B tier.
Honestly, I would say high B, but I wouldn't put it like top B.
I'd say above Wapol.
Yeah,
below
that's
Clay.
It's just a really well executed comedy fight.
Yeah, as you said, it is the epitome of has no right being this good.
Yes.
Luffy versus Usopp. Now this is good.
This is S tier.
Yeah.
This is S tier. This is like one of the most emotionally devastating fights in the series.
But it's also, in terms of choreography, one of the best. Because again, when Usopp challenges Luffy to the fight, you're thinking, right, Usopp's gonna get curb stomped and this is gonna be sad. Usopp takes Luffy pretty fucking far.
Yeah, he actually puts up a hell of a fight against Luffy, even if it's like, it's pretty clear by the end that he had no chance of winning, but he gave Luffy all. And that's not nothing.
I mean, again, like, I think Usopp knew he wasn't going to win this fight. He just didn't have enough in him. Even uninjured, he probably didn't have enough in him to, take Luffy as far as he needed. Because, he knows what Luffy has been through. Luffy fucking survived 3 fights with Crocodile, of all people.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, in hindsight, Luffy's fight with Crocodile, because, Crocodile knows hockey, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, he has to. He has to. There's no way he can't.
Yeah, and yet somehow Luffy, pre-hockey, beat Crocodile.
There is no way for him to reach his position without knowing hockey.
Yeah.
The Warlords are too important of a figure for one of them to not have hockey.
I mean, Buggy.
Buggy is a special matter, okay? Buggy is a very special matter. He is in his position because Oda loves seeing him fall upwards. And everyone else does because it's fucking hilarious. It's always funny to see Buggy fail upwards.
It really...
Spoiler warning for the most recent, 24 manga chapters, I guess.
Something like that. The end of Wano, basically.
Yeah, the end of Wano. I'm so fucking happy that Buggy is an emperor. I'm so happy. I theorized that Oda would do that because it was hilarious, and he actually did it, the madman.
He did.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, oh boy, Sanji versus Wanzi.
Wanzi is Noodle Boy, right?
Noodle Boy, yeah.
I mean, fun cooking-themed fight, I guess, but again, there are better fights in this arc. Even as somebody who doesn't think much of Water 7 and Eni's lobby, there are better fights in this arc.
This is probably the weakest of the fights from the Sea Train onwards, if I'm being honest. Save your spite.
I'm not even talking about that one, thank you. I'm talking about the fact that Luffy versus Bluno was a fucking curb stomp.
Yes, but we'll get to why that one's a good one, though.
Why are all these fucking East Blue fights just
littered throughout the list? I don't know.
Because I was just trying to think, who did Luffy fight before Bluno? I was like, wait a second, that's Axe Hand Morgan's that son of a bitch. What's he doing there?
Could not tell you. What I can tell you is that Sanji versus Wanzi is probably a C tier.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Where in C tier is the question.
It's
not as forgettable as some of the
interesting enough gimmick fight, I guess. So I'd say between the Davy Back one and Sanji Arlong one.
Yeah, that should work.
It's not as fun as that one, but it's better than the Arlong one. Frankie versus
Nero.
Nero.
Weasel dude.
Right. That was the one where Chopper had to get Frankie some cola, was it? Or was that the other one?
No, that's Frankie versus Fukuro.
Okay. Was this the...
Yeah, Frankie versus Nero is the one on the Sea Train.
Again,
that's the one where he used Frankie Centaur to pin the guy to the train top.
again, that arc is so fucking long or that saga, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of it just sort of falls by the wayside in my memory.
This one is one of the more unmemorable fights, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a D tier fight, but I would say it's probably the weakest fight
honestly,
of the saga.
I'm looking at C tier. I think if you think it's going in low C, it's probably going to end up in D. So we might as well just put it there.
Alright, we'll
now.
put it top of D then.
Because I'm going to be brutally honest, I think probably from Krieg at the moment is probably going to be the bottom of C, and we'll send the other 3 fights down.
We'll see.
So yeah, Luffy
this
versus...
one is definitely a D tier, if not E tier. Luffy versus Morgan.
Mm-hmm. But it's
Luffy's just fucking with the other dude.
It's Axe Hand Morgan. The most terrifying of Luffy's enemies.
You can't even finish that fucking sentence. You can't even finish that sentence properly, dude. It's a D tier fight.
Mm.
Honestly, it could even go in E tier. I'll leave it to your discretion.
Fuck it, we need to fill out E tier.
Most of the early East Blue fights are pretty weak, not gonna lie.
Luffy versus
Bluto is an excellent scrub fight, though. Or no, that's not the word for it. What was it?
Curb Stomp?
Yeah, Curb Stomp. I'm trying to think. I know there's a word for it. God damn it.
Squash fight.
I know there's a phrase. Squash fight. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a good squash match. To basically demonstrate how strong Luffy is and how his gears work.
Mm.
A second, my voice thing is being really fucky. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm going to murder my internet provider.
Go for it. They all suck.
Yeah, they do. But yes, this is a really good squash fight.
It is. I'd say somewhere in B then.
Both of Blue Note's powers and Gear 2.
I'd say it's better than the Bellamy squash fight.
Oh yeah.
So
this one's a lot more dynamic, I think, is the right way to put it. And also it shows how well Luffy scales to the rest of CP9.
Yeah. Again, it's just cool getting to see the gears for the first time. Well, getting to see Gear 2. I don't think we actually see Gear 3. We just see the aftermath of it.
No, we don't see Gear 3 proper until he fights.
Yeah. I'd...
Honestly, just for debuting Luffy's gear system, I'd say this goes an A.
No, I'm not going that far.
Alright. IB then?
I'd say mid to high B, yeah.
Let's put it right above the Foxy fight then.
Alright. But it's Afro Luffy. If you're giving it props for introducing gears, we gotta give the Foxy fight props for introducing Afro Luffy. Frankie versus Zip Guy. I don't remember that.
Fukuro. His name is Fukuro.
Fukuro. There's so many characters in One Piece. I can't remember all of them. I could only focus on the names from the current arc.
I kind of get that. There are a lot of characters in One Piece. Yeah,
We know how many characters there are in One Piece. We ranked their devil fruits. That took us 3 streams.
Honestly, at this rate, this might take us 2 streams at least.
It probably will.
Yeah. So I will say that at worst, all the Eddie's Lobbies fights go in like low B, high C. At worst, because all of them are a good blend of action and comedy.
I can agree with that.
I would probably say that either Frankie Fukuro or Nami Khalifa is the weakest of the fights.
I'm probably going Nami Khalifa.
But Nami Khalifa also has that bonus factor of surprisingly strong homoeroticism for a One Piece fight.
There's better homoeroticism out there.
No, you're not wrong. That's probably the gayest fight at that point in One Piece.
Yeah. I mean, look at fucking Luffy versus Katakuri.
I mean, that one's just going to be in S tier easily.
Oh no,
But
I'm gonna be pushing for that to be one of the top fights. Don't you worry.
I mean, you're not going to have any opposition to that, if I'm being honest.
The only ones that probably takes it out is that last Wano fight.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Frank versus Fukuro, I'd say low B.
Alright, I'd say bottom of B.
Yeah.
Nami
Khalifa, I'd probably put it right next to it then.
I'm gonna go top of C.
Alright.
I want to make that distinction clear, though. Like, it's definitely not worse than Zoro versus the Bounty Hunters, as fun as that is, because it's an actual fight. But still,
yeah.
Chopper versus who was it? Kumadori.
Sure, yeah, that's right.
Haha, guess that.
Yes. This one is really interesting because it introduces Monster Point.
Mm.
Also, it's a very good showcase of a desperation fight that forces a hero to use a last resort power up.
I'd still say it isn't that much higher than Frankie versus Fukuro.
No, I wouldn't say it's that much higher, but I still think it merits placing in the mid B or so. Probably right below the Wapple fights. Or do you think it should go below Bellamy?
Probably below Bellamy, I think.
Okay. Now, let's actually save Luffy versus Lucian until after we've got the rest of Benny's lobby covered.
Alright, that's going to be an argument, I can tell.
Yeah, but that's why I wanted to save it for last.
Zoro versus Kaku. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. I have to state that I was honestly kind of disappointed by it.
Honestly, I really enjoyed those fights. In no small part because seeing retroactively realizing that Zoro figured out how to use fucking Conqueror's hockey during this fight is just
that does bring it up. Let's be real. That does bring it up some. I kind of got tired of the whole what's the name of the devil fruit?
Giraffe?
No, the actual type of devil fruit.
Oh, cow.
No. Zoan, that's it.
Zoan.
Yeah, I kind of got tired of the whole Zoan gimmick for CP0.
You mean CP9?
CP9, yeah. I'm used to calling them CP0 now.
You know, there are only 3 CP9 members who have Zoan fruits, right?
Yeah, but, it felt like a lot.
Again, only a third of the membership. Actually, no, a little under half if you count Funk Freed.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I just would have preferred if Kaku had not gotten a devil fruit.
I mean, that would have been fun, but at the same time, his giraffe bullshit is hilarious. Especially, the pasta machine.
To each their own.
Also, Kaku is canonically ridiculously strong because he sliced the fucking Tower of Justice in half.
And that's what I mean. If it had just been a regular fight, I would have really enjoyed that. I couldn't help but be somewhat disappointed.
I still think this is an A tier fight. I think it's a good blend of comedy and action. I'm fine with it being like bottom of A tier,
I
but I
was
still
gonna
think
say,
it deserves
I
A
will
tier.
agree with A tier, but I think it should be very low A tier.
I'm fine with it being low A tier, but it still deserves A tier in my opinion. Sanji versus Jopper is also a pretty good fight. That one's just more action oriented though.
Jabra, it felt more natural for him to turn into the wolf form.
Jopper's wolf form also just feels very in character for him.
Yeah. Like, that one feels more natural than Kaku's did, in my opinion.
Well, to be fair, Kaku didn't have his double fruit until Enies Lobby.
And that's kind of my point. He didn't need it.
That's fair. I still think the fight is fun, though.
No, I'm not
Regardless.
disagreeing about that. I'm not disagreeing about that. As I said, it's just part of. It's one of the things that contributes to me not enjoying Water 7 Enies Lobby as much as other people. Jabra himself, I think, is a little forgettable.
I mean, he just doesn't have as much staying power as Khalifa, Kaku, or Lucci do in terms of characterization.
Yeah.
And that's partially helped by the fact that those three have the most screen time out of CP9.
Like, he's definitely not the most forgettable member of CP9. Cough, cough.
No,
What was his name? Kumadori.
Yeah.
Barely remember him or what his shtick is.
His shtick is trying to fit Tsubuku and then using Tekai before it actually takes.
At least we all remember Bluno for just being curb stomped by Luffy.
And absolutely underutilizing his broken ass devil fruit.
Yeah,
yes.
he's got a really good devil fruit that he just doesn't use well. But I think if I remember correctly, the Jabra fight had some mental mind games in there.
A little bit, and it also has Sanji using Diable Jambe for the first time.
So, I'd say at the very least high B tier.
Yeah, I'd say like above or below Luffy versus Bluno.
I'd say above.
Okay.
I mean,
fair.
let's compare it to another Sanji fight. Would you say it's better than than Sanji versus Bon Clay?
Just a tad, yeah.
All right, we'll put it above that and below Crocodile Round 1 then.
Mm-hmm. Now this is a contentious one.
B tier.
I think. What?
B tier. Luffy
I'd say
Lucci is not interesting.
Counterpoint. This is Luffy's hardest fight at this point, and it is the first time we see Luffy in a true knockdown, drag-out brawl. And it's also, while Lucci isn't necessarily an interesting character on his own, he works excellently as a personification of the evils of the world government. And that is what Luffy is fighting to protect his friends from. So he works very well as a symbolic villain, as both the embodiment of the world government's evils and the difficulty of fighting the world government that Luffy will face in his adventures.
Counterpoint, I don't think he's as much of a symbol of the world government's evils as Spandam is.
They both play to different sides of the world government. Lucci represents the hypocritical justice and the relentlessness of the government, while Spandam represents the pettiness and incompetence therein.
I would also argue that while you are correct that Lucci does take Luffy further than any opponent prior, I don't think it feels that earned.
I disagree, in no small part because Lucci had been built up for much of the saga. Like, he is the final boss of the Water 7 saga. just like Anaru was in Skypiea and Crocodile and in Alabasta.
And because of the length of that saga and the fact that Oda had not perfected writing long arcs yet, which he arguably didn't manage to properly perfect until Wano.
Mm.
And
I still think Lucci works really really well as a prototype for that type of opponent that Luffy fights.
I just think there are so many better Luffy opponents.
There are. You're not wrong there.
And so many better Luffy fights.
Again, honestly, I don't think Luffy has many bad fights. All of his worst fights are in East Blue when he just destroying people.
Mm.
But yeah, I think this is a really good Luffy fight.
It's a combination of the arc going long itself. So by the time that you reach this point, you're already like, okay, well, this arc has been going on for a long time. There's been a lot of fights, like probably more fights than any other saga, I think. Like concurrently.
No, that's Wano. Wano has the most fights.
Up to this point, I meant. Up to this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wano has a shit ton, because there's just so many people to go through. But Wano is in the future. I'm talking about up to this point. Like,
the Water 7 saga has at least one fight for every Straw Hat, so yes.
And so by the time, certainly, I can obviously only speak for myself. By the time I reached the, Luffy versus Lucci fight, I was tired out.
But Mill, you're making a metatextual argument rather than arguing about the fight itself.
And I was just about to get to that. Lucci as a character and as a fighter doesn't do enough to alleviate that. There are fighters throughout this list who are able to do that because they actually have some semblance of a personality beyond just, oh, look at me, I'm super strong and a hired killer and I work for the world government. Lucci is not entertaining enough to pull this fight off. And while, on a basis of, yes, the choreography is good, he takes Luffy to the limit. As in terms of a saga-ending fight, it just doesn't do enough for me. That should be the highlight of the saga, and it's not.
I think it is.
I disagree.
I don't.
We knew there was going to be a fight over this one, because I really don't like Lucci, because he's boring. I don't understand what people see in him. Like, it's not the worst, like, Luffy arc/saga ending fight that there is, but it's not one of the good ones. I'd argue that there are probably 2 fights that are worse than this one. Fishman Island 1 and Punk Hazard 1.
Oh, not even the Moria fight?
I liked the Moria fight. I thought that one was really interesting and cool.
Oh, I like that fight too. I've just seen a lot of people arguing against Thriller Bark in general.
I like Thriller Bark. I actually really liked that arc. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a really nice breather between, what was it? The
Water 7 saga and the Marine
The seriousness of Water 7 and then the fucking world-changing implications of, everything that goes on after that up to the end of the first half. Like, Well, I say first half. I mean pre-timeskip.
Yeah. So where do you think this goes?
I'd probably put it. If I was on my own, I'd probably put it top of B, for the time being.
I'm fine with it being top of B.
I don't think I can justifiably put it below Usopp versus the versus Chew, and we probably have ranked that one highly.
We need to put that one lower, yeah.
We probably do. But even then, I still wouldn't put it. I think it probably does just about beat out Crocodile versus Luffy round 1. Even with my issues with it, I'd still say Zoro versus Kaku is better. But we can move Usopp versus Chew down some. I'd argue below Afro Luffy.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good place for it.
For now, anyway.
Yeah, for now.
Ace versus Blackbeard.
I always forget that we actually got some of this.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely off screen. Just the finale of the fight was off screen.
I always feel like we just cut to black with them facing off against each other for some reason.
No, we get the fight, and then it ends with them throwing 2 giant spheres at each other.
I'm not sure how highly I can rank this when Ace is a fucking idiot.
Honestly, I think Ace has the worst track record out of any major fighter.
Ace is not a particularly good fighter from what we see of him.
Like, his best on-screen achievement in the fight is drawing Jinbei in a days-long fight, which is impressive on its own.
Yeah.
But it has the issue of, yeah.
The point is, he's a high commander in Whitebeard's fleet, and he doesn't use Haki. He has to know it, and he doesn't use it.
He is one of the few confirmed Conqueror's Haki users in the series.
He doesn't try and use it. Fucking idiot.
Ace is one of the biggest victims of Oda's decision not to utilize much Haki before the time skip.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because it makes Ace even more of a dumbass.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool fight. I'd probably give it, high C, low B?
Yeah. I put it right above, right between the 2 Skypia fights we have at the bottom of B. So right below Sasori.
Right. Yeah.
Oh god,
Sanji versus things up. Sanji versus
Absalom. I hate this fight.
Is that the Absalom? Oh, it's the Absalom. Okay, I thought it was
Absalom. Yeah.
What's his face? Duval.
Hogback? No,
I thought it was Duval.
No.
Right. E-tier.
E-tier.
just for the content matter of it. It can be as fun of a fight as you want, but it's it's one of the worst characters in One Piece, and Sanji
being at his absolute worst.
I think
not his absolute worst.
No, he gets worse.
Time skip.
there are worse Sanji moments, but it's not a good one either.
No, Sanji's at his worst right after the time skip.
Yeah.
Usopp versus Perona. This is a fun fight. Honestly, this might be my favorite Usopp fight besides the Usopp versus Luffy.
Trying to think of what else you could give him.
I think this is the last proper fight before Wano, I think. Oh no, there's Fishman Island, but that one is kind of mediocre.
Do you not really get one in Dressrosa?
He sniped Sugar, but that's it. He didn't get a proper fight.
Right, that's fair. Yeah.
Oh wow, only one Fishman Island fight is on here. I'm not surprised though. All the others were just ludicrously one-sided.
How long have we been going?
Hour 19.
Hour 19.
You want to get to the end of the pre-time skip stuff, and then
That's exactly what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking. Hello, Sabo_One Piece. Luffy vs. Sabo would be an interesting fight, I think.
That would be interesting, actually. Yeah.
I'm not sure why they would ever fight, but it would be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy would win, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, Usopp versus Pro now.
I'd say it's an A tier, honestly. It's really fun.
Again, you've got that gag of Perona's power only not working on Usopp because he's too negative.
He's already negative.
It can't do anything to make him worse.
Yeah.
It's not quite Eneru levels, but it's pretty up there.
Yeah, again, I say it's like A tier. It's really fun. Not to mention that you actually get some interesting dynamic with Perona's ghost powers versus Usopp's trickery.
Yeah, okay. Bottom of A tier then?
Yeah. This is another curb stomp. Luffy one-shotting. What?
Who's that?
Moji.
Oh, that's East Blue again.
Yeah, East Blue is shuffled around in here.
Again, it's confusing me because I was trying to think, where does that guy come up in Thriller Bark? I don't remember him.
I'm also kind of surprised I skipped the Hogback fight in this tier list. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is E tier. This is literally Luffy just one-shotting a dude again.
Where are we putting it on the list of Luffy one-shots?
It has a bit more emotional heft than the other two, so I'd say top V, I guess, because it's Luffy punching out Mochi because he's being a dickhead.
Yeah. Maybe at the end, depending on how many Luffy one-shot fights we've got in E tier, we could just create a tier for that. Luffy early one-shots.
Luffy one punches, yes. Yeah, Zoro versus Ryuma is really good. It's a very quick fight, but it's also justified in how quick it is because of how incredibly destructive the fight is.
I'm trying to think. First time since the latest Hachan, the earliest Mihawk that Zoro's faced a proper swordsman.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time Zoro's actually fighting like a straight up regular swordsman. Regular, for lack of a better word.
It depends. It obviously depends on how you classify Hachan's swordsman abilities.
Well, Hachan still uses actual swords, unlike Daz Bones, who just is metal, or Kaku, who Kaku uses swords, but he also uses funky air blades as well.
I mean, when I'm saying swordsman, I mean like. Is Hachan a fighter who happens to use swords, or is he a swordsman in the proper sense of the word? The way that Zoro is, and Mihawk is, and Ryuma is.
That's hard to say.
I know it is, and like it doesn't really matter. But the point is that this is one of the few times pre-time skip that Zoro actually gets to fight a proper swordsman, and it is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I would say it goes A tier.
Honestly, I can't disagree. I would probably.
Thriller Bark has some really good fights.
It does. That's why I like it. I'd say above Perona, below Kaku.
Sounds good to me. The Oars fight is one of my favorite fights in the
Yeah.
pre-timeskip stuff.
It is.
It is the first time we actually get the Straw Hats fighting as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'd say it's S tier.
I'm not going to disagree with you. This was the one with the humor of because it. What was it?
The docking sequence.
The docking sequence of Robin just going, "No, I'm never doing that." The scene where because I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, because wasn't like Luffy's soul trapped in Oars?
Yep.
And then it got Oars got trapped, and the Straw Hats were like, "Oh no, whatever shall we do?" And they just took out all their frustrations on Luffy as a captain on the trapped Oars.
Yeah.
All of their frustrations.
I love the evil looks on their faces too when they do it. It's just such a good fight.
Yeah, it really is. I'd probably put it at the bottom of the S tier fights we've got at the moment.
Boy, we have some really good shit at
S tier is S tier for a reason. Like,
all right, I think this is Straw Hats versus Moria.
yeah,
Though mostly Luffy, because at this point everyone else is fucking exhausted.
yeah, everyone else is fucking down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Z fighters at the end of the first Broly movie. It's like, all right, we're just gonna let the boss take care of this one. You got this.
Yeah.
We're just gonna sit here. I'd probably say low A tier.
Low A, high B. Somewhere in there.
I'm putting it above Lucci, so whatever's.
All right, we can put it below Perona then.
If you want to keep Lucci as the peak of B tier, yeah.
Yeah. This one's a short one. Zoro
Yeah.
versus Kuma.
Oh, Kuma. I struggle to call that really a fight.
Yeah.
It's mostly
People
Zoro.
remember for what happens afterwards,
Yeah.
but that's not part of the fight.
That's not a fight. That's not a fight. So honestly, I'm sort of debating with myself, do we put it in D?
No, because it does have that impact of what comes afterwards, and also, like, it shows us what Kuma is.
Alright. Very
I'd
low
say
C
still-
tier then.
Yeah. Because it's not really a fight.
No.
Maybe above Krieg, though, just because
Alright.
it's funny.
Yeah. That's Pacifistas?
The Pacifista fights, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, cool for the first time that, the Straw Hats are all together and they really struggle.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, them at the end of an arc. This is them at the start of an arc. Yes, Zoro is still recovering, but
Everyone else is at their peak.
yeah. That said, still probably mid to low B.
Yeah, it's fun to see the team attacks, but at the same time, like, this isn't where the meat of the arc comes from. It comes
No.
from after this fight.
So what do you think?
I'd say right below Monster Chopper.
All right. Not going to disagree with that.
Luffy versus God damn it, Luffy versus Marigold and Senator Sonia. Bill?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it, but I'm not. I don't think there was much to
It's
it.
the one actual fight we get on Amazon Lily.
Yeah. But again, I don't think there was too much to it, was there?
No, it was Luffy getting thrown around a little bit, then kicking up Gear 2 and kicking ass. Does have an interesting end to the fight in that Luffy doesn't actually properly beat his opponents and just makes them realize that they misjudged him as a person.
I guess. C tier.
What was that?
C tier.
I'd say high C. It
Yeah.
still has the inventiveness of them using observation hockey and armament hockey to counter Luffy.
No,
for a
I'd
bit.
agree. I'd agree high C, but I just don't think I can put it in B.
Fair. I'd say right below Khalifa then.
All right. Yeah.
Luffy versus Magellan is really good.
Again, Luffy struggling is always a good thing.
I mean, not narrative. Not in the narrative.
Not
per
in the
se,
narrative, obviously, but you know, as a watcher reader of One Piece, getting to see Luffy struggle is good, and it's especially good in these arcs because in the Marineford saga, because it does show how far Luffy still has to go and necessitates the time skip.
Yep.
I think did Luffy fight Magellan multiple times, or was it just the once?
He technically fought him on his way out, but that was mostly just him trying to stall Magellan when he went full unstoppable boss of doom.
So this was before, and this was how he met Ivankov.
Yeah, this was before he met Ivankov.
Because the reason he got brought to Ivankov was to heal Magellan's poison, wasn't it?
Yep. Because Magellan poisoned the absolute shit out of Luffy.
Because again, Luffy charged in against a very incompatible Devil Fruit user for him.
Yeah, because Luffy's a brawler and Magellan is deadly to the touch.
Yeah.
I'd say A tier at least.
Oh, I was honestly gonna say somewhere in B.
This is Luffy at his most desperate against a truly impossible opponent for him, and yet he still perseveres.
High B?
It's like the S. I put it above Crocodile.
Alright, I was gonna put him just below.
I feel like this one is a lot more intense, just because Luffy's struggling all the harder for.
To be fair, this is, the crocodile fight was a round 1 of 3.
E.
Whereas Magellan was almost a one and done. Whitebeard versus Akainu, or are we gonna take this as Whitebeard's fleet versus the Navy in general?
I mean, there aren't any other Marineford fights besides the one after this, so
I think we probably should. In which case,
yeah.
S tier.
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ. Kishimoto, this is how you do a fucking war.
Yeah, and this one was done in 30 chapters.
Yeah. Like, this felt genuinely chaotic. And like everyone was fighting everyone instead of just a bunch of one-on-one fights separated by a bunch of distance.
Yeah, no, that's not how an actual war goes.
That's not how you do war, okay, Kishimoto? Fucking boring ass. Can't believe he managed to make a war arc boring. This is not the roast of Naruto. This is not the roast of Naruto. But yeah, no, Marineford is like one of the most highly regarded arcs for a reason. And
you see Marineford repeatedly topping everyone's best of One Piece arcs list.
wow,
and
up until Wano.
Well, yeah, well, not everyone's going to say Wano is better, but
Marineford is
Marineford
always up there. Is the point?
routinely makes people's top fives
Yeah.
easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say right between the Oars fight and Usopp versus Luffy.
Yeah. All right.
Blackbeard versus Whitebeard. You know, it's a pretty short fight, but it's really awesome seeing
It's a brutal
Blackbeard
fight.
get absolutely stalled by a dying Whitebeard.
Yeah. It's like there's not much to it, but what there is pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah, like Whitebeard's on his last fucking legs, and he nearly kills Blackbeard.
Oh, how things would have changed if he had.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking A tier or high B tier.
I was thinking the same.
Maybe low A tier then, because it does convey the brutality of pirates as well as just how absolutely metal Whitebeard is as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want? We still have a little bit of time left. You want to just go through and find all the other pre-time skip fights that were kind
That's
of
what I was gonna
shuffled in.
suggest. Yeah.
The first up would be Zoro versus Kabaji, which is
there. The one with Giri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time we see Zoro use Onigiri. Actually, no. I think we see him use it against Captain Morgan. But whatever. It's an alright fight.
Yeah. Sorry. Again, I'm just. I'm trying to remember what happened at the start.
We can just put this in D tier. It's fine. This is after Zoro got stabbed by Buggy, by the way.
Yeah. Wait. Didn't Zoro also stab himself?
Yes, he did stab himself because Kabaji kept kicking his buggy wounds.
Kicking his buggy wound. That is pretty fucking metal, to be fair.
Maybe C tier then. D tier then.
I mean, again, we've got an easy comparison. Bottom of C tier is Zoro versus what's his face from Skypiea?
Braham.
Like, how would you compare the two fights?
Well, Braham is interesting in that it has Zoro actually, having to deal with a ranged opponent for once. And having to invent a workaround to deal with that. But it is still, at the end of the day, a scrub fight. Which is what Zoro versus Kabaji winds up being as well. Because Kabaji only has any advantage whatsoever because Zoro is already wounded at this point.
You know what? That's fair. We can put it D tier then.
Yeah.
Then I think we've got Luffy versus Buggy. I don't think there's one before that.
S tier, obviously.
Oh, I mean, obviously, it's top of S tier. Best One Piece fight ever. Luffy kicked Buggy in the floating nads.
Honestly, though, it's still a fun fight. It's just suffers from Oda's early fights problems.
No, Oda definitely emphasized humor over actual fighting for these first arcs.
All that said, I still think it's a high C fight. At least. If not,
honestly, I think because I think the humor landed well, and there was a decent amount of actual emotion behind it.
Yeah.
I think they really
also,
managed.
It is the first proper double fruit fight we see in the series.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it really managed to convey the emotion of Luffy defending Orangetown. So I put it low B.
That's fair. Where in B though? Like bottom or a little bit higher?
You know what? I want to clown on them. Just above Ace versus Blackbeard.
Hey, it's a fight between two future emperors.
It is. It is. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I will never be over Buggy becoming an emperor.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. It's always funny.
Next one is
This
Zoro
one,
versus the two cat boys. Yeah,
I don't remember
this is
that
D
at
tier.
all.
This
I
is
do.
D tier.
When the fuck did that happen?
This is Syrup Village.
Right. It doesn't help. It doesn't help.
It's literally just versus the strongest of Kuro's minions.
Right. I'm going to the Syrup Village arc just to. Right,
Yeah,
the
I
whole guild
don't-
was Black Cat Pandas. Black Cat Pirates.
Yeah.
Nyaban Brothers? Is that their name?
I think so. I don't
Richie and
remember their
Sham?
actual names.
Yeah.
They're so forgettable. I don't remember their actual names, which is saying a lot for One Piece characters.
Honestly,
Yeah,
it seems like a curb stomp, so yeah, D tier.
I mean, it's not a curb stomp, but it's just so utterly forgettable, especially compared to all of Zoro's later fights.
Yeah. Luffy versus Kuro.
Kuro is the lamest ass bitch compared to all of the other arc villains in One Piece.
Again, the point of him was that he was manipulative, not that he was a particularly good fighter.
Even then, his plan was so fucking dumb.
It nearly worked.
Nearly doesn't cut it.
those meddling Straw Hats kids hadn't gotten involved, then he would have succeeded.
I still think it's hilarious that his entire plan revolved around being a fucking butler for years.
Nobody said he was smart.
The manga says he's smart. According to Oda, he is the second smartest character introduced in East Blue. Ahead of Nami and just below Ben Beckman.
Okay, ahead of Nami seems harsh. To Nami, I mean. Like,
he is canonically smarter than Nami somehow. And, like, no. Just no.
he didn't even, like, contribute to Luffy's bounty.
Yeah, no, because the Syrup Village stuff got brushed under the rug. Yeah, no. Kuro is just, like, so underwhelming as a villain.
Mm.
And it is hilarious to me how swiftly he jobs.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just going to the SBS where Oda actually said that about Kuro being the smartest or second smartest.
I'm honestly more surprised about Ben Beckman, since we still know jack shit about him.
We know he's fucking Shanks' first mate.
Yeah, that's it.
Where is it? Ah, here we go. Yeah, I
have a hard time seeing him as being that smart.
no. I mean, I would imagine there's a huge fucking gap between Ben Beckman and Kuro.
I mean, but that also leaves Nami a lot lower than she probably should be estimated as.
To be fair, at that point in the manga, I wonder if Oda had really solidified how smart Nami would have to be yet.
I don't think so. Nami is like canonically a prodigious navigator.
Mm.
And also, like, literally everyone else introduced in East Blue by that point is very, very dumb.
I mean, yes, second smartest introduced in East Blue is not the highest bar in the world, is it?
Correct.
Anyway, where are we actually putting the Kuro fight?
At best, C tier.
Yeah.
I know it's harsh, but
Not really.
I wouldn't even put it high C tier. I'd put it low C tier.
Okay. I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Where do you think? Bottom of C? Just leave it at that. Or you
Uh,
want to shove it into D tier?
is it a better fight than against Don Krieg? I think that's the question here.
Dawn Creek fight at least had some interesting gimmicks to it, and Luffy actually had a bit of a tough time. The whole Kuro fight was Luffy just saying, hold still so I can hit you, and eventually getting him to hold still and hitting him.
Alright, we'll put it just below the Krieg fight then.
Okay.
Zoro versus Mihawk.
This is honestly the best fight in East Blue besides maybe the Arlong fight.
Hmm.
Just because it is our first demonstration of what the peak of the world looks like in One Piece.
Yeah. A tier.
A tier.
Again, we've got a couple of Zoro fights. Well, we've got 3 Zoro fights to compare it to in A tier. Better than Ryuma?
That's Zoro's best showing. Yeah, right below Ryuma.
Yeah.
This one doesn't count as a fight. Come on.
They fought. I think it was only Ben Beckman who fought and just curb stomped the
bandits, yeah.
The bandits, yeah.
You just off-screen them. Like the scrubs they are.
D tier.
Here.
But do you want to put it in D tier then?
It's honestly not all that memorable. But I'd still put it above Zoro versus the Cat Boys.
I
know-
think it is memorable because it's that first glimpse that we see that One Piece is not going to be the child-friendly version of pirates. I'd argue
True.
that it is memorable at least for that, because that moment where fucking what's his name, Lucky Roo,
Lucky Roo.
fucking headshots that guy. Holy shit!
That is like the first holy shit moments in the series, isn't it?
Because you're like, this is a shonen. This is like an old shonen. That is gonna be all kid friendly, and like, oh my god, he shot that man.
Nope.
He killed that man dead.
Chapter fucking 1, boom, headshot.
Yeah, so like, I'd argue fairly high up in D tier for that at least.
Okay, we'll put it above Zoro versus the Scrub Lord. I mean, Kabaji.
Yeah, I think arguably so.
Oh my god, we got the done sound effect in so many of these panels from early One Piece.
So yeah, that's where we're gonna end it today.
Oh my god, half the remaining fights are Wano fights.
Yeah. There's a lot of Wano fights, okay?
Yeah.
Probably gonna need to have that Wano arc page up on the wiki just so we can make sure to tell everyone.
God.
How many of them are fucking Luffy versus Kaido?
I think there's 3. Let me look. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And then there's Worst Gen. So 4 technically of Luffy versus Kaido.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ.
Kaido is just a fucking beast.
He's a tank. He is a tank. I don't think there's any way for any one person to beat Kaido.
No, it was literally a marathon to
Yeah.
get to beating him.
Kaido ran through like all of the
16 opponents.
scabbards. You know, the worst generation fighters that were on the samurai side. Then through Luffy alone. Then, admittedly,
Yamato.
admittedly, Luffy got, rabbit punched, but then Yamato, and then Luffy again, and still Luffy had to bring out a fucking secret form.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then there was Momonosuke briefly popping in, too.
Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
Kaido is called Beast for a reason.
He's called unkillable for a fucking reason. The man
God.
doesn't know when to go down.
He really doesn't.
But yeah, we've still got some really good fights, even, outside of the 101s. I mean, the Doflamingo and Katakuri fights, for example, are going to be really fun to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the some of the Colosseum fights are going to be fun as well.
Oh yeah, those are fun. Anyways.
I liked the Colosseum. I thought that was honestly quite fun.
Oh, the Coliseum was fun. Just some of the fights with the fighters in the Doflamingo family are a bit on the lower side, though some of them are on the higher side, I will say.
Again, Dressrosa is definitely not where Oda figured out how to do long arcs with lots of fights.
Oh, he was still figuring out his pacing on those arcs.
But again, I think it worked better because the fight with Doflamingo is better.
Doflamingo is very good as a villain.
Yeah. Again, he's got charisma.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that charisma to carry an arc fight.
I honestly think that Doflamingo is the best or second best villain in One Piece, depending on how you count it.
Where did we put him, do you think? 'Cause we did villains, didn't we?
We put him in S tier.
I know we put him in S tier. I can't remember exactly what our ordering was.
Give
Give me a second.
Question.
Let me remember how to do the search thing on Twitter. I know it's Storytime_net, right? Remember to follow us at Storytime_net.
We do also have, I think we have it on our Discord as well.
We probably do. It's just gonna be harder. Here we go. I think he was second, yeah.
Who did we put above him? Was it Crocodile?
Katakuri.
Yeah.
Crocodile was third.
I'm not surprised.
To be fair, this was before the end of Wano, so Kaido would probably be a bit higher than he is right now. Because Kaido, I believe, is fifth. With a Kainu at fourth. And yeah, I just forgot that we had a whole tier for Absalom on his own.
Yeah. There's a reason we put him in that tier.
Yeah.
It's what he deserves. And if Vanderdecken was on the tier list, we would have put him there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, poor Jack the Drought down in sea.
He jobbed so fucking hard.
He jobbed
man.
so hard every time he fought. Every single time. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. In terms of future stuff, Saturday, I believe we are talking about Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, yes. Okay, good, I remembered.
Which I need to watch Return of the King now.
So you'll be that'll be taking up all of your free time from now until we start the stream, right?
More or less half of my free time, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot, especially if you're watching the extended edition. The long fucking movie.
It is 4 hours and 23 minutes, including the credits.
Yep.
So nothing else getting done tonight.
Mm-hmm. Sunday will not be D&D. Again, is unavailable, so I don't think we've actually come up with what we're doing.
And we'll figure it out.
Maybe we can do the second half of this. Of this. Yeah, I think so. Tuesday.
I wonder if Bill would like to join in on this one, on that too. That'd be funny.
Yeah, we can see. Tuesday, probably more Dragon Age Inquisition, and Thursday, hopefully we'll be able to keep on going with Tales of Arise. I should hopefully be joined by Gen for that one.
Yep. If plans on that change, we will let y'all know.
Yep. Otherwise, again, thank you for watching. Please do give us a follow here on Twitch and on Twitter at Storytime_net. And otherwise, we hope to see you on Saturday to talk about The Lord of the Rings. It's going to be a good one. Good night.
Later.